She's not. That's me. She is not here, but I know I sent all the documentation home with Alan. So, and I did talk to her this month. She didn't say she wasn't coming. Whoop, that might be her. She can't get in. Why not?
Yes, but she does come
No,
in.
that's my turn.
Sounds like the beginning of Star Wars.
All right.
It sounds like
Hello?
some race.
Yeah.
Too.
Hi, Sally. You were wondering. If it's in the email, no? If it's not, what day did I send it out? I would have sent it out last Tuesday. And that would have been, I don't know what today is.
Okay, well,
The
we're
10th.
called meeting.
So it'd be
forward,
on the
6:03.
3rd. So it should be on the
No
3rd. and it
public
should be on-
comments?
You can't see it.
Minutes, okay, anyone have additions, subtractions, corrections to the minutes? Very short. I thought it was fine.
I will.
Okay, I'll second. The minutes are in the book. Okay. I had two things here I wanted to say. One. I can't read my own writing. Oh, okay. I wrote it in a hurry and I was looking at something else. The money issue for the, I saw your, pamphlet, I don't know, I emailed you back, I don't know. if you got it. And, at some point, we need to have some PR that says, you know, it's only gonna cost you what Starbucks cost, or something, you know, some kind of thing to allay people's worries when you see a large sum on
That's
there.
right.
It's terrifying what it is. It's not terrifying, but it's tricky because it all depends on how many, say we say 1.8 million it's gonna be. Well, then what if we get, you know, $1 million worth of grants? It's not, then what's it gonna cost you? So it's, you know what, the worst case scenario is apparently what we have to plan for.
Yeah, so maybe we have to find a way to share the information that says, this is how much it will cost if we don't get
Grants.
grant. We are applying, or we are in progress, or something to let people
Yeah,
know.
because everything's going up and I think.
Oh,
people are really-
scary, right? Yeah, we don't
you
want
know,
people to be
But on
terrified.
the other hand, our budget is passed every year for years, it's over $1 million.
Well, we still want the operating.
But I mean, remember when it went that high and we were.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going, but you know what, the people who are gonna vote for the library are gonna vote for the library.
Right.
And the people who are gonna vote no on everything all the time are still gonna do it.
Yeah.
But
Even
they're
if it's
not
only
gonna
a lot.
do it.
Yeah.
And then there are the people who are like, I'll vote for the regular budget, but I'm not sure that this expansion is needed, and then we're gonna.
So
do
we
like you
need to
said,
have
we need
that.
Have some kind of.
You gotta
number,
have some kind
Like
of,
you said,
and,
it'll cost you as much as a Starbucks a week.
right,
or
yeah,
whatever.
that's,
Whatever.
you know,
A loaf of bread or something like that.
we have to be able to
Yeah.
show them that, you know, that it's affordable for a large number of people. There's a lot.
And I mean, this was just a very brief. Get some things on
We
paper.
started. Our
And
job,
like,
yeah,
you know, we might want
well,
a picture of the library, we
Yeah.
might want a picture of what the expansion would look like,
Yeah.
and how we can make that
And
all
there's
look
things
good.
in there that we
And
have
I'm not-
to sort of make absolutely sure, like when you.
We'll make-
About
well, we could.
technology access.
Mhm.
Oh, right, but there's
Yeah.
a piece about the fact that lots of people have a computer, but they don't have high speed.
Right.
And I never thought of that until that year when there was a mob of people here registering.
For the
Boilermaker.
Boilermaker.
And I was like, oh my God.
And
they
we
would
had
have
many
been
people
people because
they knew there's at home, yeah. So that was really fun, yeah, because I remember Katie came down, she was from New York, and she came down to get into, but then everybody's been able to get into the Boilermaker after, since that close, they closed out,
Yeah.
ran out. But yes, we do have some plans for that, and John Rodwell will help us, he does our like annual report.
Mhm.
Sally's
Oh, I thought you were
trying
talking
to do the link. No, we will make a brochure that's pretty good.
Yeah.
We can pull that
Yeah,
together.
I mean, first of all, we need to get some text and what do we want.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of
And
what
I
we're
have the
doing.
plans
You know
that came
you
today.
have-
So you can see what it looks like. I did send you the renderings and I think I will just print them the way they are. For what reason I wasn't going to print them, but I think I'll print the 6 of them that I had that she sent me. And we'll just do that. But I do, mine's for there she is. I think that's Sally.
Hi,
But-
Sally.
But we will, do we,
Still connected
I
to
guess,
audio.
I don't know if that's part of the president's report, if you wanted to, are we gonna meet the Monday,
Yeah,
the
we did
twenty-third,
last time, too.
are we gonna
Monday.
stick with our fourth Monday?
Building committee.
The building committee, the fourth Monday is the 23rd,
23rd, yeah,
10 o'clock, is that still a good thing? Do we have to meet in the back? Which is,
yeah, that's fine.
I think it is,
Okay. Where were we? Oh,
but you were, did you
okay.
have more? You were.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if anybody read the New York Times on Sunday. I don't always, but sometimes I do. Usually if I buy it 2 weeks in a row, it piles up on the table. But this is about the librarians of the year. And they are the 5 staff members of the Books Unbanned team at the Brooklyn Public Library. And they were recognized by Library Journal for, this is so we can be grateful. That's why I'm reading this. When we get, this is, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, it's necessary. They were recognized by Library Journal for creating books unbanned to reach readers in places where new restrictions force books off library shelves and out of classrooms. Books Unbanned issues library cards that give electronic access to the Brooklyn Library's digital and audio collection. About 6,000 teenagers have requested cards to Brooklyn unbanned since the program began last spring. While it was originally planned to run for a limited time, it has taken on a life of its own. Thanks to everyone involved, Books Unbanned has been a success with 52,000 checkouts.
Wow.
to date.
Wow.
And then it goes on to talk about the individual people, and then at the end, the individual librarians and their careers. And then it says, the team also wanted to acknowledge librarians at reference desks who have to put up with angry people shouting at them about a book they found on the shelf. We wanted to figure out a way to lend some support to them, to help them get through this and find ways to push back, which is more or less the backstory to one of Brooklyn Library's newest employees, Summer, it looks like Boys America, who discovered the Books Unbanned program when she lived at 1,500 miles away and paid a price for her discovery. Miss Boisner was a teacher who posted the QR code for Books Unbanned in her classroom in Norman, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, when school began in late August, she was soon placed on administrative leave
Wow.
and summoned to a meeting with school administrators. This came after a parent complained that she had spent class time discussing the QR code. And after Oklahoma lawmakers had approved a limit on what public schools could teach about race and gender.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Thumb
Yeah.
down on Oklahoma. The state education secretary demanded that her teaching certificate be revoked. She
You do that?
resigned.
You wouldn't think, right?
Yeah, you would in Norman,
Yeah.
Oklahoma. She resigned before officials could do that and visited the Brooklyn Public Library a few weeks later. When she left the Brooklyn Library, I felt like I was leaving home, she said. It wasn't the building or even the books, it was the people, the librarians. One thing led to another, and last month she moved to Brooklyn and joined the library staff as the
Wow.
Teen Initiatives Project Manager.
Wow.
And I'm pretty grateful that we do not live in Norman, Oklahoma, or anywhere else that has that kind of law. I thought that was really interesting.
They presented at Nylon,
I'm
that
sure,
crew.
yeah.
and that was,
And the books they show, I don't know if you can see them.
Well, you know, these banned books, they wrote
That's one they
banned
show.
it from-
One of them was Sherman Alexie, there's one about, something about part-time Indian. My grandson read that at Proctor in like 9th grade. Big
you
deal.
didn't even think to be on, right?
Sherman Alexie wrote a lot of stuff for younger teens that's.
I mean, there's
it's
all kinds of books that have nothing.
One of them is genderqueer, one of them is Out of the Darkness, I don't know, I'm not familiar with that book.
Yeah, but if there's anything that criticizes how we treated different
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah, it had to do with the
Or
reservation.
recognizes the
And
civil
the
rights
last
of
one
groups that they
Was
don't
the
like.
hate you give.
Oh, yeah.
Every single teenager I know has read the hate you give, and they're all fine. None of them have fallen into a pit of whatever. And they were interested and impressed with the
Oh, yeah.
information. So,
So those are banned?
Yeah, well, lots of things are
A
banned.
lot of
But
it.
I-
It depends on where you live, it depends on where you live or something. I
No,
doubt,
I
but
don't
it's
think-
fun, there might be school districts in New York State that are doing, but I don't
The
think so.
individual.
I think it might be against the law to
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
our laws are in favor of.
But of course,
We can't-
individual districts curate their library.
Correct.
Different.
You,
That's
you only have so much
Yeah,
money,
Say to the kids, this is a good book to read.
Right.
but they're not gonna fire the teacher for
No.
having a QR code test.
Right, no. And I always use the banned book, had banned book week, and I had, yeah, so juvenile delinquent students, and that was in the nineties, and you know.
It is
I never
fascinating.
had any flack about it.
The
Not
history
every-
of
not
banned
every
books.
state even has a strong teachers union. like we do, so,
Yeah.
Yeah, there, I remember reading that, Huckleberry Finn was on the
Yep.
banned book, list, and I went, wow,
Yeah, because it says banned word.
no,
Oh, no?
it was because Little Joe was property,
Oh, right,
and he was helping him like steal him stuff, right? It was against the law for him, he was a slave,
yeah,
so if he's like aiding and abetting,
yeah,
it was a crime.
yeah,
It was a crime to have a black person.
yeah.
I mean, maybe as it went on, that was the reason, but that was the original.
Right, but that's, the kids should read that.
Yeah,
They should.
the
see that
original
in the
reason.
context.
was that. Crazy.
Well, anyway. I
Things
thought
we
that
just
was
don't
good.
think
I
about.
thought it was good hearing. I apologize. Taking up time.
No, it's fine.
Oh, that's good.
You know,
We have financial report.
we did, so that would be the,
We have two items, the expenditure and revenue reports for November and the abstract of claims for December 14th, to January 10th.
And the total for that, as you saw in an email, $102,357.42.
Right. I will move to accept both the expenditure and revenue reports and the abstract of claims.
I'll second that.
Okay. And there's nothing else for the financial report, right?
Not really, just, like the capital projects is on page 4, and so that was just kind of.
There's nothing we have to.
Nothing you have to
we have to
approve, no,
vote
it's
on.
all,
Information, right?
it's just, this is an FYI, but you do have to approve, I'm sorry, nothing like, there's no budget transfers, there's no.
Right, that's
Roll
what
over
I
the
meant,
CD
yeah.
thing and all that.
Director's report.
Okay, so it was a little short, but there was a lot of vacation going on in there, and a snow day and a half, I think.
Yeah.
We had wicked snow.
Right.
Right. At one time, actually, inside, which I shouldn't go in, but one of my son's friends from Buffalo, his brother was in that storm.
Oh,
Friday
Lord.
night to Sunday morning, he was stuck in a car with the person who got in a car accident in front of him.
Oh, no.
She had food and blankets, but they didn't know, like, if it was gonna last that much longer, but they had gas in the car, fortunately, and they had, there was a snowplow that went through right alongside them, so he could get his car out, and I think she could get hers out, because she could back into, and then they went to the hospital, because somebody was going to the hospital, so they just took their cars and they
Oh,
couldn't
that's-
get home
that's the path they
necessarily.
could follow,
But they could
because
get
that
out,
would be-
after, but that, they were there.
And if they went
From
to the
Friday night to
hospital,
Sunday
then
morning.
the snack bar or rent a cafeteria.
They didn't, they just had like a few snack bars, but they also forecasted that weather. So I think she had a blanket, and they had to go clean out behind the car though, otherwise, you can't be off,
Yeah.
would kill you. So there was it was interesting. So they'll probably be fast friends the rest of their lives, like Fred and Foxholes, right? Because, they were stuck there together, and they took snow and they melted it, because you can't really have cold snow and whatever, and they did some different things. She had water, but then they melted it, so you shouldn't clean out those extra coffee containers in your
No.
car. But, okay, so anyway, we had a snow day that day too. Let's see, just, oh, I did, this was disinformation and literacy landscape, that was a webinar, which I should have said it was a webinar, how, you think you'd know everything there is, but it's just, maybe it's just a reminder of all of it, and it's just had perspectives and things like that, so anyway, I found it valuable, and I did send it on to the staff. Let's see, we were close to the weather, books of our lives, Pam was there, I love that group, it's fun. we had a programming meeting, which is good. We don't necessarily do crazy things, but we set a date to get together and discuss. And I think most of it was just planning for our professional development day and on Friday. Let's see, the renewal. So I had to do that, and their database wasn't working for bananas. I did it 4 times when they called. So try it again. Anyway, she sent me something that I could cut and paste into Excel and then send it to her because it just wasn't updating. ARPA is that grant that we're doing with the laptop tablets or whatever, and so I
Oh,
sent
right.
that in.
Yeah.
See, Rotary meetings, we had a dinner. Which was, then I also, because it was a little, it was slow because there's always things to do, but there wasn't anyone pestering me because it was that Christmas week. And the emails, so I actually did look into this Rotary Positive Peace Academy webinar. So it was on my back burner for another year, and that was good. We went through some. It had little I don't know, like 3 or 4 minutes. You do something and then start working through that in like an hour or so. And then there were edits to the construction grant just to clarify a few things. Katie said, you know what, Katie, have to just make sure that they know that this is 2 bathrooms going into 1. And just, so I cleaned that up a little bit. And she said, well, is the carpet in the stacks affected by the construction? And I said, well, it's a different colored carpet and it's the same room. And so we had to like wordsmith that a little bit so that we have a better chance of having that accepted. She said if worst comes to worst, we still have a 25% of that we are gonna pay out of pocket for anyway. And she said, and so the match would just be that part. But we are taking some shelves out like along the wall to just push them over. It's very very loosely connected to the construction project, but maybe we can make that happen. So we did that. We had a construction grant, and then, you know, our normal volunteers didn't come in because it was free. And wow, do we get donations? And everybody else is busy. I was, and I do have things to do, but I saw all those boxes of books and it was stressing me out because I thought if we put them out, people will buy them. So it didn't take me that long. I was probably in there like 40 minutes or something like that. I know. I thought they cleaned out the house or something. There was so much overwhelming amount of books because
even shop.
everybody got ready for Christmas. So they brought us things as they were reorganizing their house with their tree in. And they said, oh, I gotta get rid of these because more are gonna come.
Yeah.
And all that, and then we are deleting books. We're we're running the reports and saying, okay, this doesn't start getting in 3 or 4 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
gotta go, because we want to pare our collection down a little bit. And so we did so well with our music on CDs. Yeah, it took so long. So anyway, we've been doing that, and so then that's where this little story comes from, because I want to go back to my little list. I did meet with Betsy Hardnick. Oh my gosh, somebody donated books from OHMOCs, and I thought, I saw Betsy's leaving, maybe I'll connect with her and give these books back to her so she can put it back in her collection. We get them from different schools too. Sometimes it's like, really, but they hadn't been deleted, but they had been deleted. They just didn't have markings on them. And we got our state aid construction check. It's over here, exciting. $291, $91,000. So that was just, it's fun when you open that envelope. Legislative breakfast, that's always good to go and hang out and talk and find out what's going on. And I was talking to Brian Miller, and he was leaving because he needed to go to a NIDA school with Joe Griffo. They were, I don't know, they had a grant there too or whatever. And I happened to read in the last month or so that this couple moved. I'm going to make it up. It's somewhere out west. I want to say it was Colorado or something like that, or Wyoming. I think. You were there, right? When Jamie, I was talking to Jamie, and unless maybe you had gone by then. And this couple went to all these public libraries in the region that they could live.
Yeah, and Jamie told us what state it was.
I think
and-
Wyoming
I don't
something, it
remember.
doesn't matter, it was out west. And they wrote a little synopsis about all these public libraries that they visited. But they made their decision of where to locate, where they were to live,
Oh, wow.
based on their public library. And you people do that with school districts
Yeah,
too, right? They say, oh, is it, but we are the educational face of the community. I was telling Brian Miller. I said, it is a great story,
Yeah.
right? Because if your public library in the regions that you represent aren't good, people are gonna pass you by.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
There was also, I think it's Robert Smallman, Assemblyman Smallman. He's actually my representative because I live with
Oh, in the next-
Trenton and then that, right, literally my neighbor is in the town of Floyd and that's where Marion Butchon is that representative. And he said there's money. Look right up when there's money. So I need to, and I did go to talk to Marion's representative and we're gonna try to see if there's any money in Grants Gateway because there is federal money that's come to the state and it is in surplus. So we'll figure out if we can get a hold of any of that. And I'm also going to a federal I don't know, grant information thing that is February 1st and 2nd, but I really think it has to do with energy saving things. Which I don't really, our project is super energy saving, but if we actually built that second story addition, then we could put solar panels on top of it.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that before, I know.
Right, but it just came in the email, that one came in the email today. I'm like, "Ooh." Their community foundation has one next week that I'm gonna go to, because I did reach out to them. Because last year, I wrote a grant and they gave us $10,000 towards one of our toilet rooms. So I reached out to them, so we're doing more toilet rooms. So.
The community.
No one's in any way this little blurb about, the family, they were so cute. There were so many little people just toddling around. Never brings it too, but that happy. I was in the workroom over here and I'm just watching all the hum going. Normally I kind of go from place to place, but I was observing a little more than I usually do. Okay, so in-service day is Friday. Pre-bid construction meeting is the 18th. Now that just means that any contractors who are interested can come in and they'll talk to the architect, we'll walk through the building. So that's not any, nothing's being decided
Yeah.
at that meeting. But I do have a timeline and it is, we have another meeting before there will be a, anyway, somewhere in here, but it's not until I think it's the Wednesday after our board meeting, our February, there it is. It's an organized mess. We have, so we advertised our, that we put the bid in the paper. The pre-bid meetings on the 18th, there's the bidding period, it's currently 6 weeks, so we tell people about it, and then on February 15th, they would be due. So if they can ask all the questions and mill around and come, and then on the 15th, we would want you to come but in all honesty, you do need to come, but we're not going to, she estimates that they will look over whoever it is. Like if it's Gaetano, we know Gaetano, right? But if it's some company we've never heard of, she's gonna reach out and get, recommendation letters or whatever. So there, it could
We
be,
did last time.
yeah, we did, because we didn't really know who he was.
Right.
They just built one,
Oh, that big
yeah,
Beautiful
beautiful.
building, yeah.
Okay, I digress. Do you know, is it Ellen Wood, Ellen?
Yeah, I think it is called Ellenwood Drive is one of the streets.
It's
there.
kind of if you come down from Lowe's up here and you go,
Yeah,
or well, actually you have to
the
go. up and
building
around.
faces Commercial Drive,
Yeah,
but you would have to enter it from. the
It's a
Ellenwood.
medical-
Yeah, it's a medical.
it's a medical building and it's really lovely.
What is the date we have to be?
Oh, well, we have to come, the 15th is the day that we open the bids,
15th is just February, right?
in February, and it's a Wednesday.
So we should be here then.
You should, because we should at least have 3
What
people
time?
here,
2 o'clock it says.
oh,
2
does it?
o'clock?
Good for you.
So
Oh, it's on here, okay, got it, I was like, it doesn't say it on this paper.
2 o'clock to 15.
Yeah, 2 o'clock on the 15th, and we would probably approve it based on, you know. Not recommendations, whatever. What is the word I want?
Well,
So I'll put that in on the announcements too in here.
Yeah, okay. You know, we would approve it contingent upon recommendations or something,
all
I
right,
guess.
that's familiar with them.
And then they would start construction. Proposed start date February 28th. And so that's pretty cool. And then we would, you know, just keep building.
So on February 15th, what are we doing?
That's when we open, well, we don't do
open
anything,
up
we,
the bids, so-
they open the bids and then we find out,
Now,
you
do
know,
we do anything? Do we vote? anything?
we could, I think we did.
I don't know if we do.
It depends on if we know the person.
Yeah.
If we know enough about the
not
person
sure.
who has the lowest
I
bid.
think it's just, it's weird, because it's kind of like on Dale, I can look back in what we've done before, you know, I think we just did it because we thought, well, why don't we just do it? And then,
It has to be the
then
lowest-
at least we
but
started our,
It has to be the lowest bid.
If
Not
it does,
necessarily.
but
recommendation,
Right.
it depends, if it's, you have to have a good reason not to take the lowest bid.
If the
Like,
lowest
okay, if the
bid was
lowest
way
bid
low,
Is, and then we can't get anybody who recommends that person.
Mhm.
Like, what if Pat Smarko puts in a bid? And we're like, "Oh, she doesn't know how to do this, right? I mean, there would be this,
Mhm.
you know, they would vet the person.
yeah.
That's the word I want.
Well,
They would
because
vet.
there are companies that we have no idea who they are. you know,
Right.
Right.
So if no one knows them and we don't know anything
Yeah.
that they did here in town, then.
and
we
they
need-
were way lower,
Yeah.
way lower,
Yeah.
it doesn't make.
And it's.
Sounds too good to be true.
You know, in times when somebody bids really high, they don't really want the job.
Or, right, they want it if they can get it.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're not.
But we did pretty well last time, and I did send it out to some people, I sent it out to them, because we worked with them before,
Yeah.
and I sent it out to BB Construction. And someone else that I learned about through jury duty.
Right.
You're always networking, no matter what you are.
Right.
So I think I sent it to 3 or 4 people in an email saying, FYI, this, you know, this will be in the paper in such and such a time. I mean, it's public, right? We're put in the paper, it's not like.
Yeah, she drew from people's attention.
Exactly. And they said that they would bid. So that was exciting. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. We have been talking and going around in circles, and we've got a plan, and we think that we're probably going to carpet. I talked to Rob from New York yesterday. He came and I said, okay, a lot of books that we have to kind of put in storage and check out to like Mr. Construct or something. How are we gonna do this? Think about all the stacks. Like in children's, we had a lot of books, but
Mhm.
we were able to kind of like put them in the horseshoe and do all kinds of different things. And he said, why, you're not gonna move these stacks? Why don't you just cut around them? I think, yeah, but what if somebody like 10 years from now,
Yeah.
like wants to take those down and put a few tables in there? He said, then you pick up the carpet tile and you patch the ends and you make like an area rug thing in the middle with other carpet tiles. And I went,
Oh, that's true.
right? I just,
Oh, and it sounds like not a good plan when you first hear it. Like, oh, you know, carpet around.
I know. What if we take them down? And it's like, what? Because we've done it all over, like you have a little border, you know,
Yeah.
navy blue and.
You just make things work.
Wow, that's freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because do you think we should go start pot again? Like, no, we can do that.
And
I'm gonna
then
buy
I
one
think
from like meeting.
You also want the library to still be used.
Yeah.
Books to
Yeah.
still be checked out.
So really, because, you know, just in case there's certain ones that I think that may move in like, say, the next 5 years, like the ones on the brick wall, where the new books are on that brick wall, you know, as we pare down the collection a little bit, a few of the DVDs go away, then maybe that brick wall would be just exposed. And maybe that one, but that's only like 5 or 6 shelves. And then there's another one that we could take down. So there's a few that we'll take down, which is minor, minor in comparison. Because the bottom things just pop off too,
Right.
and then that acts as molding, and if you just take the end caps off, that. It was just like mind blowing, so I do have to talk to Julia, because of course, I'm sure our specs don't say that, because April thought, oh, no, we have to move them all, because you never know. But.
That sounds
It's
like a
not
plan.
one big sheet of carpet,
Yeah.
so it's brilliant, I was just,
Right.
what? My God, that's amazing. And we did have some other things that were on my list, and we had a phone that wasn't working and we couldn't figure out why. He said, no, that phone should work. I said, I know it should work. It doesn't work. And so we tried to find extension 213 and it was nowhere. It was busy. It was. And I said, well, what if we just change the extension? And so he just goes, and he said, 211 isn't being used, 211, and he put in a password and it's been ringing. Brilliant. But most of what I had him come for was to try to figure out what to do with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we don't have to do all that stuff. And we do have to move some stuff,
Something, yeah.
but it's all doable. It's
Yeah.
all, I mean, we have to move the book sale. The book sale is gonna go into YA, and the circulation desk is gonna have to come on this side, and we talked about that, and then that, you know, it's not a patron port, it's a staff port, and all that's good, and so we are ready.
How's the book sale go?
The book sale goes, I mean, they're not,
No, I mean, how is it
it's,
busy?
it is busy, people do come in, our prices are pretty inexpensive,
Yeah.
so we don't make a fortune off of it, but you know, it's a service, and I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
I think people really like to own a book, let's
Oh,
face it,
yeah,
a
they
children's
do.
book, because there's a little stress in borrowing a children's book, or any book, you go to the beach, whatever, you go on vacation, you go to your,
Yeah.
you know, somebody's house and you leave it there, I like to buy books.
I bought one for a Christmas present. 'Cause I have
Everybody has a book for their
friends
present.
and a couple of family members who we all trade books that we got at the book sale, you know. If that's
Buy
a good
the
book,
book
it's
and
very
bring it
good,
back.
what does it matter if you got it for $1?
No, it doesn't matter. So it's something that we really like, and I'm looking forward to having it have a permanent location, because it is just, it keeps getting moved
I
all
know.
over. But we haven't figured out where it will be and very functional, but we still have to empty that lobby area, but we have it planned. Circulation desk, and then there's the big boardroom table, that's gonna scoot on the other side of Jew. We're gonna store some of the things that can be folded, like these types of tables,
Yeah.
we have a few of them out there. And we can just fold them up and put them in here or wherever we need to,
Yeah.
but we can get them out of the way. So we've been talking about it, we have a plan, so I'm excited. Good. I don't have to talk anymore because you know, that's what we're gonna do.
I just have one question about the staff development day.
Yes,
Remember we talked about asking staff, you know, giving them 3 minutes to write a sticky note, what do you want to happen here that isn't happening?
we will do it.
I think
I
that's
didn't
a good
remember that, but-
idea, and,
Okay, what?
you know, I mean, not only in construction and building, you know, but,
Right.
but programming and.
What's your wish list? What's
Yeah.
one thing on your wish list at the library?
And if you
What
give them a
is
sticky note, then they don't
one-
have to say.
And then we'll
you
just
know,
put it
pick
on the
all-
whiteboard at some point.
Yeah.
What is one? thing-
You said one thing on your wish list.
One thing. Your.
If you only give them a sticky note, then you can't. you know,
Yeah.
write.
list.
Right.
Library. I think that's good. Actually, we have, so in the morning, so funny, they laughed right out loud at me when I said, I just need 15 minutes. And they're like, they just started laughing. I said, okay, I need more than 15 minutes. So we're gonna have a staff meeting, we're gonna go over, because I just showed Kim the picture, she said, oh, that's cool, I didn't know it was gonna look like that.
Yeah.
You know, just like,
Yeah.
Kim so knows what we're doing, but I think that I tell them something. And then I tell the next person something, I feel like I'm playing that telephone game.
Yeah.
As I go around and say, 'cause
And you
It
don't remember
affects-
what you said to who.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so I do that a bit, because I talk to her, and I talk to her about certain things, like taking the shelf apart. And I talk to like Val about what's on it and where it has to go, you know, those kinds of things. So we're gonna go through all of that and explain, and I also do want to take time. I want to not really create a marketing thing, but kind of create a marketing thing. Okay, this is what we're doing. And if a patron talks to you about it, can you articulate what's going on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's-
So if they can see it and
And
understand it,
they have some talking points, you know.
yes.
no, I think that's
And
right.
we'll work through them, because the last time we had a staff development day, we went over our. What was it? We did, like, it wasn't plan of service, it was, like our mission and.
But yeah.
Maybe
they
it was
want
a
to
plan of
know.
service, but we honed it right down. What are our, what's our, it was kind of like what our mission was. It made it a lot more succinct. And so we'll have that synergy.
In this
of-
case, it's gonna be Howard's, this proposed second floor addition going
think
to
we should be
fulfill
given,
that
yeah.
mission.
Yeah. And okay, so now I want to talk about this because what are we gonna do? Are we gonna create a postcard? Are we gonna create trifold binders? Is it a postcard with a QR code? So it takes you to a place on our website that kind of
That would be good.
lets it all
Yeah,
belong, because you
have
wanna,
more than one thing.
right?
Visual and.
Exactly, then you can see
That
the
would be
red,
a- that would be a good-
the floor plan, you can see all that stuff, then you can see our little, bulleted list of the 7 things that
Right.
are the
You
major
would
stuff.
probably need a couple of posters with some,
Some-
just the
Yeah.
highlight, you
Yeah,
know.
but like a little folder with just some catchphrases,
Mhm.
like, connecting people to
Yeah,
information and connecting people to people and
Yeah.
And
growing
people
communities.
to
Yeah,
people.
that's a good one.
I like that,
Yeah,
because
And-
that's what we kind of are missing.
And
in
then,
the world.
like, the QR code could bring you to renderings of the drawings and
yeah,
statistics but just the pamphlet, just be just some positive stuff.
right, yeah, exactly, 'cause that's what you
And
started.
find out
That's
more,
what you started,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
find out more by.
but I do
going
think
there.
it's so odd that we're so connected, but we're not connected. I really think that that's.
Yeah,
So in other words, the staff knows exactly, this is what you want them to know exactly, if it's a public ask them.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
because they're our front line.
And
if they don't-
and they should know.
If they don't know what happened to the magazines, because the
Yeah.
magazines all came off the shelf, so there's all.
Right,
empty
they
magazines.
should know.
But that sort of thing, that they're all in,
You
know.
You're right in sync with them.
they're all in Princeton files and they're, so we can. But yes, that kind of thing, what,
Mhm.
and it's fun, the things that people come up with and you go, huh. That drive-through window would have been brilliant, but we just couldn't.
I know.
We just couldn't pull it
You can't
together.
do everything.
It was so funny. I was like, wow, what a concept, especially because I think we were doing it during COVID. We were running things outside. We need a drive-through window. Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
I know, they were so crazy, I didn't do that because I can remember asking, ordering some books. And somebody, it was pouring rain and somebody had to come out, I would have come in, but, there were the rules.
But even a carport or something,
Yeah.
they're like, but people do rent it. We do have a few that still call and they said, are we still doing this? I said, for the 3 that come a month.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
well, for some people.
It's hard to get in and out of the
very- in and
car.
out of the car, so
It's not
great
so
that
bad if they
they're-
park right over there.
Yeah,
People can run out. And I don't think people really mind to do 3 or 4. I think it was kind of trying at the time. that we
Oh,
were doing
yeah,
lots
I'm
of it.
sure it was. I used to feel guilty getting
Yeah.
close. Do I really want to? I think I could find it.
We're fine. So yeah, we're it's going and it's it's nice that the money at this point, and anyway, I don't find the construction grants stressful because it's kind of, we can afford the
Yeah.
construction that's going on without
Yeah.
stressing
And
people.
you've done so many times.
Yeah.
We've already seen all
You
the,
guys all saw the green.
all the
right?
snags that you
I'll
can
give
have.
you one of these. This time. Just do that one.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't remember.
I passed them out during our open house, but maybe you just didn't get one. So this is what our construction grants have been over the last 10 years, I think. 11. So we've taken in from state money, $1,233. Sorry, I got a lot of
Yep.
them. You can, wallpaper your wall.
No, this is the kind of thing.
Yeah, this
that
is a
would
good
make
thing.
a
Yes,
huge poster, but a little bit bigger.
it's something, yeah, that's
Something,
true. I mean,
something to give
just-
people the idea that it's not all out of their pocket in
Yeah.
the same way. I mean, yes, New York State grant is out of all our
Mhm.
pockets. But.
but somebody else would be getting that money if it was.
Right.
us.
it's all
Right.
not. Yeah,
but I do remember when Rome, back in, I don't know, 1999 or something, about that time period. the superintendent was trying to convince us, the faculty, because I was a student teacher, and he said, our local taxpayers in Rome are not going to pay anything for this brand new high school. We have to explain to the public
Right.
what it is, because people don't know, and at the time, Rome so needed help anyway, and rightly so. They put it on the old base, and it was 100% paid for by New York State
Mhm.
because of the devastation in the city of
Right.
Rome. But so we just, again,
Right.
knowledge is,
So people have to know that.
people just need to know and
That's right.
understand, and no one understand, because people are like, how are we paying for the
That's
Dunham
right.
house renovation? They're nervous, and
Yeah.
rightly so, but so much of it came from state grants.
Yeah.
That it really, it was the $50,000 that the taxpayers have voted on and approved over the
really, in
years.
this economy, and with it, $50,000 is not that much money. What are you gonna buy for $50,000? Even a luxury car costs more. than that.
And I also
Yeah,
have to try to figure
Like,
out
come on,
what it would cost to replace the rolled roof. We have to do that anyway.
yeah,
So if we build walls and then put the roof on top,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mean, it's obviously it's a lot
That's
more
gonna
money
be a lot
to
more
do
money.
that, but we'll try to,
well, the people who use the library can see that we need the space.
I know.
But the people who don't use the library are, we're gonna have to convince about the things that we can do, and there's gonna be people that don't need the things that we talked about here, but that's okay, because
But-
lots of people do.
But a lot of people do, and a lot of
And
the
a lot of
community
people
members
are
do.
willing to pay for somebody else to have something they
Like, if
need.
you go in those bathrooms, you can see they seriously need. I mean, the tile needs to be taken off and put back on, so we either do that and pay for it, or we put it into a construction
Put it in,
grant and it
sure.
gets paid for by other people.
It's like with school taxes, I mean.
Yeah.
We don't go to school, we don't have any kids that go to
No.
school, but yeah. we-
But you understand they need a new body,
Right,
Yeah.
you know, it's just what
I
it
think-
is.
I think
If you
we're
live in the
not for that.
community, you don't want the children of that community riding on a bus, it's not safe. Well, yeah, that's not really an option, they don't allow the schools to drive on safe
No,
buses, but
But
nevertheless.
that's the
yeah.
idea.
right,
And so,
Right.
and I think there's a lot of, I don't know a lot of people who are up in arms about that kind of thing. Well, I'm sick and hard, right, Jack Block. It's usually, remember when we used to have people come that complain about the taxes? And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, they usually were elderly and crabby, because once they started complaining, they expanded the list, just all kinds of things that had nothing to do
Do with the library.
Until somebody said, thank you very much, you know,
Yeah.
well, let's move on, because they just were crabby because of something in their own life or of their crabby people.
that's right.
Okay, well, my plan is to stay under the radar and reach to the people who
Yeah,
like us.
yeah. And if we can spread it around to,
Yeah.
like each of us knows people that work somewhere, that knows a lot of people, you know, that kind of thing. That's only small, but it helps.
But
You know,
you
that's
need
what
your
we-
elevator speech too. You need the postcard, or you need whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so if
right.
we can create a postcard, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Not like a bookmark's too small
Yeah.
and a piece of paper is too big.
Yeah.
I think a
Yeah.
bookmark with a QR code and like two
Postcard.
things on it,
Yeah.
but yeah, just a postcard.
Right,
And then it got, we have the option for two
Advertising
sides.
kind of
Yeah.
thing, you
And
know?
then we can just give that out with everybody that checks the book out. We can give you chunks of them. We can. But we,
Yeah.
you know, it's something you could take with you. If you went somewhere. It's so
Yeah.
interesting because the service area is so much smaller than. Like you go to Rotary and only like 2 people in that Rotary would be voting.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
Right.
but
it's only
still, we
like
could take them to the community center up on West Road or something,
Yeah.
or
Right.
even take them to the
And
school
certainly to the
district.
School district, and where did you suggest for somebody, no, we talked about it at the meeting about going to the budget meeting.
Right, and I put that in my email just to keep it
Yeah.
on their
Yeah.
mind.
I would have
because
no
we're
problem
talking
doing
about
that.
this.
What budget meeting?
We talked about asking if the school district.
Tell them we want 5 minutes or 3
At the
minutes.
budget.
With the they have a meeting at the high school that the
Yeah.
community can go to and learn about the school
Yeah.
budget.
That's their.
I think we did that.
No, but
one
our-
time.
but
I think
ours
we
It
did
is,
go.
right? Okay, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
we should have, you know.
We've
we-
never
we
been
should have
invited
five
to that
minutes.
one.
No, but at the building committee meeting, we talked about
Yeah.
seeing. if we
Okay.
could get
Yeah, I
five
think we
minutes.
should do that, definitely. I think two of us should go, so that
Yeah, I think we
I'm
did,
willing
yeah.
to go unless.
Yeah.
So yeah, what you
don't want me
forget,
to.
somebody else will remember.
But that way, yeah, or if somebody asks a really stupid question, you can, like, the two of us, two people could divert it to something else, you know,
Right.
pretend we didn't hear it.
I think we once went to a school board meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine you
Yeah,
did when you had the
yeah,
big
right.
renovation in the eighties.
Yeah. So that was something, and we talked about trying to see if we could get on radio. And
Yeah,
TV.
we could learn on the
something.
radio.
Well, we have mugs. There you go.
Well,
We're
more
gonna
than
get
my
mugs.
club.
My club.
Right,
I was trying to think of something at the schools, but I can't think of anything.
There are PTA meetings.
Yeah, but usually it's not, I don't know, I've been, I didn't,
I know.
I think I ever went, maybe
Yeah.
I did back in the dawn of time, but, that's not usually very big, I don't.
They
think.
are.
I was
Usually they're
thinking
worried about the.
It'd be worth it to get, ask for 60 seconds at some big function at the school, at the elementary school, particularly, in the elementary school, everybody comes, if it's a concert or something, everybody shows up. And Yeah,
Could we
so what?
table, could we table?
you could do that, and
maybe, yeah.
you could ask
Who
for,
knows?
you could
Kim
ask
knows.
for 30
Kim and
seconds.
Jamie know.
You
when
could ask
there's
for 30
events.
seconds, just saying, so nice to see
Let
you all
me-
here supporting the students and
Just, I don't know.
our
just-
library
we-
supports your students as well, so. keep up,
We can
yeah.
get swag, you know? I don't know what that is.
And they have,
I think that's after the budget. goes.
Table.
oh, you think that, yeah.
Oh,
No, there's a lot that happens in March, music and.
Yeah,
tour.
but they try to keep it.
Oh, that's right, what's our budget? When-
Not till May.
May.
Yeah.
Budget vote.
That's when they vote.
Yeah,
So March would be perfect.
Yeah,
because music in our schools month, they usually
Right.
have a lot.
yep, we could have, like you said, a table with information.
Or if they have some kind of evening thing for parents as reading partners with the elementary school, that could be a
Yep.
time when we
Yep.
talk about the
They
library.
do. And it's hard.
That we used to do it in March or April, right, Sandra?
Yeah.
Yeah, and. if-
All right.
I think
Dr.
just,
Seuss birthday is in March.
you charge it,
Yeah.
school meeting center?
So if we
Wendy,
go to Wendy,
Yeah,
Just a.
and that way we could have, somebody go to that.
And that, in those cases, your audience are taxpayers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and voters.
yeah.
Yeah. Already with
right?
right?
We don't want to go to the ones that don't bother to go out and vote, and we don't want them to know. Terrible, that's not your
Encourage those people who might forget to stop and
Do you
vote for
remember-
the school board other than-
Okay.
Not that I.
Table at March event.
So you're doing it at the conference?
Yeah, they would have
Yeah.
a table. with
Yeah, I don't.
information. I see no
I don't know
reason why you can't
Is
ask,
better for you? I can just.
I can see why you
I mean,
can't
I-
ask
I
for
know
30
all
seconds.
all-
Say-
I mean, you could split up the
No, I do.
schools.
But even, I mean, you don't wanna take too much time in
No.
the faculty meeting or something.
No.
There are already too
Why
busy.
don't
But
know everybody I know? I know,
but
Brian.
even if that postcard is created, cause we're gonna do this thing on Friday, and then maybe we'll have something even approved or something.
Yeah.
For the meeting at the end of
Yeah,
January. So if we get all the stuff that we want, right? Because, I mean, Vail just did a QR code thing when we did the snowshoes. And so we created an information packet, and it has a QR code, and that links you to the YouTube video about how to put snowshoes on.
And how's it going?
that's really.
Well, we don't have any snow. We got everything figured out. Make sure it's snow.
Snow.
No, boom, then it rains.
I know, I'm trying to think of anybody who's still, everybody I work with moved to Florida. I do something, but,
I mean,
I'm sure, I know, but I know Brian,
Connections.
I know Brian Miller, yes, like that. So.
I know.
I could talk to him
Do.
and
Okay,
say,
so we want to do this, what do you recommend?
what do you recommend? What do you think would work?
Promotion.
Yeah.
We already talked to Joan about the little bit about bond. So we got that. We do have to do it as far as we can do it right now.
Right.
But we do want to, and so we want to create that promotional information and have it done, hopefully, so we can show you. But I know, Kim's husband. is
Yeah.
Graphic, knows graphic.
Well, then
stuff
what- yeah.
pretty well. So he could create this for us, and then we could have it printed at something, and have it be really pretty, right? And I know, like Lucinda could do it for us, she does her business card, so I could give it to her, actually, I could give her the information, and she could create it, but we can almost get a camera ready, give it to her.
Yeah.
And we'll show it to you on the 23rd,
Mhm.
and see what you think, and, but then we have it, so
Yeah.
any of those events, we would have them.
Yeah.
And we'll get lots of them, so that when people check out a book, we'll just stick it in their book, and those are our people, right?
Yeah.
We'll be able to give it out at story time, we'll be able to give it to the knitters, we'll give it to all the people that are here for
Yeah.
programming.
Yeah,
So-
so for this library
Right.
expansion, connecting people, blah, blah, blah.
We'll come up with a, we'll just, because they'll be here, they'll be creative, they'll be full of news. And they'll be, this is your task, what do you have to, this is our goal, that's really why we're bonding, we're gonna do things like, trivia things, but for the most part, the purpose of this is that we walk away with a good marketing campaign and knowledge of
Right.
what we're doing. So, you get it, that was a long time.
Okay.
Where
that'll
to-
work.
Okay.
It will, I feel better, because it took me a long time to figure out what we were gonna do.
Well, I think it takes all of us to
Yeah.
figure out, who knows somebody or who can think of something different that somebody else didn't think of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I don't know if that was old business, new business.
That's what
management, or
some
communication.
stuff under old business there.
Yeah. Because that's ongoing. We should probably get something that says, I'm
Ongoing.
going business in general.
I think
Well,
that's old, right?
Some
I don't know.
places call it unfinished business
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
new business,
Well,
but you could do
it's
ongoing.
only, doesn't.
It's just.
It's always, I mean, it's gonna be,
It's
until I
always gonna
retire, there's gonna be.
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing.
Not old or new. Right.
Like the auditor called stating, kind of been working on that a little bit. He's like, I have to talk to you about construction. I said, yeah, I said, things start in one fiscal year and end like 2 years
Yeah.
later, it's kind of revolving.
Okay, what else? Where are we here?
Is there any more
Old business? Anything else? Announcements, communications? Any sort of?
I had you on mute. I would just like to say how I was pretty busy last year. I think maybe you know, I visited the 44 libraries in the Mid-York road trip. But in December, I got to really check a big one off my bucket list when I got to visit the Library of Congress in Washington. And it was just what a beautiful place. I was just so happy to get there. It's the largest library in the world, and it receives 10,000 items daily. So
My goodness.
that's very impressive. And
I
You know.
believe, I almost, Washington, our Library of Congress, I think if you publish a book in the United States, don't they give one to the Library of Congress or something? I
it
don't know.
could be. I look in the beginning of books and they talk about
It's
the
beautiful.
Library. of Congress.
It's been a long time.
So, and I did go, we went to the Mid-York annual meeting, and I've been to lots of Mid-York library board meetings. And let's see. I'm looking at my own writing here. Well, I guess, and I was hesitant to go to all those libraries because, I'm pretty concerned about COVID, but I did go to 44 libraries and I was fine, but I ended up with COVID anyhow.
Wow.
So I'm still within 2 weeks of getting oh my gosh, my 5th COVID vaccination. I'm saying to the pharmacist, this is number 5. Like, I don't think in my life I ever had that many.
Three, I had three.
Well, unless for the flu or something, but
Maybe four.
Wow.
Yeah, I
COVID, yeah,
skipped
that was-
one, I know, I did.
And I got COVID.
I don't know
So,
anybody
and-
who didn't get COVID anymore, when it kind of passed around everybody.
You know, I don't know any, well,
My husband hasn't had it,
yeah, it.
my kids haven't had it.
No, I had it, not my.
I think all my grandchildren.
And I was not-
in my son's family, the youngest grandchild got it and everybody was okay. And then they traveled overseas and the parents and the oldest grandchild got it, but my granddaughter in the middle of it, she never came down with it. So I don't know.
My daughter has never had it and she's an ICU nurse.
Wow.
So
I-
what?
I-
What's that about, right?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
both wear
But she
masks,
does wear a really good mask
Yeah.
all the time. So maybe
Well,
that's where she's
that
had it and
makes
didn't
it
know.
Their N95 masks are fitted to them
Are-
and they're
yeah,
tested so
yeah.
that they don't.
And
lose
they
it.
Super.
should be.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, that's my
Oh.
hospital too.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
She's never. had it.
I
Oh,
I hope to get to real meetings in person there sometime soon. If I come in a wheelchair, that's my problem. I don't know how to get it in and out of the car. So I suppose I could come on crutches. I guess maybe that's what I could do. But tonight I felt fine all day long and I don't know, since about 5 o'clock, I feel pretty terrible. So
Well,
better I'm here than
well, maybe
there.
you can make it to the one, the Monday on the 23rd at 10 o'clock. Because sometimes it's, we're better in the morning.
We'll help you.
I turn
I-
into a pumpkin
We'll
about
help you
this
out
time
the
of day.
car.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can help you out of the car,
That's true. We could.
yeah.
if she could drive.
Okay.
Need that help to get the chair out of the car?
Probably.
Maybe not to get it out, but certainly to get it back. I've never
Okay,
tried.
but we
Oh,
could
yeah,
help
we
you with
can-
that.
We can help with that.
I hear it weighs 70 pounds. So
Well, okay, then
Alan
two
does
of us
it
can
by
help you with
himself.
that.
Alan does it by himself, but
Well, team effort. I think
I
it is powered, yeah. So that,
I mean, really, what's the difference if I'm home or I'm there?
I think it's okay, because we do, Mark will be there on the Monday, and he usually sets up our TV.
Well,
So we wanna
during
be
the
part of
day,
building committee.
Alan could probably be there during the day, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I said to Alan, we should get some kind of a ramp or something that I could wheel it up or
Mhm.
I don't know.
They
I
have
mean,
vans
they even
that
have,
they take the seat
Yeah.
out and you just roll your
Right.
chair right up into.
Yeah.
That's a big commitment, though.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
different kind of-
well, that's true, but
Let's hope it
Okay.
works out, and at least if not, then you can at least join on Zoom for the building.
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah,
Yes.
Good.
well, I tell you, it's when I was at the Library of Congress, I was like, people. like, oh, and also you have to get a ticket, I guess, to an admission time. It doesn't cost anything, like, most of everything in Washington is free.
Washington, DC. I think your son lives near, the Library of Congress, right?
Well, he's in Virginia. He's not too
Oh, okay,
near.
relatively.
Yeah,
No, just to go there, she go there just.
I think she went to see her son and it was close enough
Oh,
that it was
So
worth,
we're gonna chat.
oh, yeah, we could close the meeting and then we could still chat.
oh.
okay. Well,
Quick comment, executive session, now, you have to, she has to be sworn in. Now, she's doing it, you have to do it.
Nedrin's going to do the
Yeah.
oath of office with Dennis,
Yeah.
because he can
So that-
notarize.
so- But we can adjourn the meeting.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
we have 3 of us, so
I
4 of
can-
us.
I can put
Did
in there
you,
the announcement reminding us all that we have to do our continuing education. that you
Oh,
put in
thank
the
you.
email.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I sent an email to you. There are, I don't know, 8 of them, maybe.
Yeah.
What?
There's, what do they call it? Trustee book club.
Handbook.
Handbook club.
Yeah.
And it goes through the chapters in the trustee handbook, which is here.
So what, it sounds, I didn't.
I don't remember.
I sent you an email today,
Oh,
so it was late, it was probably after
Oh, I-
today,
oh,
so don't, you didn't miss anything. So it's this book,
Yeah.
and the person who wrote this book breaks it into chapters, and she talks about one each time.
Oh, good.
And so
Okay.
there are, and we could, if you wanted to, we could meet here, but you really just need to look at your computer.
Yeah,
And they have a conversation. So the gentleman who wrote, Jerry Nichols and Rebecca Smith Aldrich, who are the two authors of this,
And
they,
we had that. I had
yes.
that.
you do, but they do a webinar for each chapter.
Yeah.
And
okay.
so
That's
they
an
talk-
hour and a half.
Right, they're about an hour and a half, so if you did two of them, you definitely would cover
Yeah,
your 2-hour requirement
So
per
you,
year.
you sent it to us.
I just sent it today,
And
and
there's
what,
a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different
Yes.
webinars. that
6
are
different
relevant.
webinars, so you can say, oh, that one's more of an
Well,
interest.
how do you show us how to get on it?
Well, it's an email.
Can we adjourn and then-
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
So that's enough.
I will make. a
Okay.
motion to Adjourn,
And I'm-
somebody second.
Awesome.
I'll